Well, hello friends, it's Julie, and today we're doing our What's Sold for the month of September. Yeah, okay. Anyways, it just seems like yesterday I did August. But anyway, today, as you can tell by the title, we're not doing postcards, we're doing ephemera, everything else that I sell. And I have increased my ephemera a bit because now I have a day of the week that I'm listing it. Or actually, we're going to start with a coin. So it's actually everything but postcards today of what I've been selling. And it's more than the last month. It might be the last 2 months. So the first thing is we sell a lot of coins. A lot of these dollar coins, they're not real gold, but they're like the gold tone. The thing about coins is that you sell them for a little profit. If you don't sell them, you still have money. So that's kind of nice. By the way, I am going through this from lowest amount to highest amount because the top one is pretty good. Okay, so we have Officers Open Mess membership card in the U.S. Navy. This was just a little card that you would fit in your wallet. I'll just put it up there because I can just scan it, and it went for $4.97. The next is a photograph, and this is a flapper woman. She looks like a flapper. Minnesota-Wisconsin state line, so there is the state line. And I just kind of studied them because she has that look to her of the short skirt, the haircut, and yeah, and then it looks like he's holding a camera. So that one went for $7.97, and there is the entire image, and there was no writing on the back. I have a menu. This was maybe this size. It's just a little menu. It's Coca-Cola, because there's collectors, drinks, whiskey, cigarettes, cuttlefish. I don't know if cuttlefish, what sold this thing? I don't know. But here is some of the menu on the right, and then you have here other things. Suntory whiskey, sake, pound cake, custard. I mean, you get everything on that menu. And then the back side, it was in one of those sticky albums, so it's got that wear on the sticky albums. And I did say in the listing that that's what happened, but it sold really quickly for $8.97. Another photo. This is the United Methodist Church in 1972. So I don't know. Does somebody in here by their childhood or their... Look at how short the skirts are. My goodness. And we say skirts are short now. And this is for a church class. Ugh, how did that pass? Don't bend over, girls. And then, of course, the boys are in full pants. Okay, that one went for $9.97. And it actually was, and it was like an 8x10. So there it says Confirmation Class 1972. This one sold recently. Northwest Orient Airline ticket. Okinawa, Japan, gate pass and a folder. So you can, here you have the date, the folder and the innards, and then the back. And this one actually sold overseas. I think it went to Italy, of all places. I mean, there's nothing about Italy on there, but got collectors for airline memorabilia all over the place. All right, now we have postalettes. I purchased this at Hallmark last year, just a bunch of clearance stuff, and I thought, well, I'm going to use them myself for people, and then I'm like, well, instead of letting it sit there all year, I will just put them for sale, and if they sell, great, otherwise I'll use them at Christmas. And so this one's, I have actually had quite a few watchers. They're just a year old, $9.97, and people have been looking at them. We have a Letterhead Miles City Garage, which, if you didn't know, it's in Montana on the eastern side. And here is the information. It actually even has a name up there, the date. And I had purchased at an estate sale a paper file of a bunch of papers. And I think I spent $5 on it because nobody is really interested in papers at estate sales except me around here. I hope that doesn't change. And they had a whole bunch of these cool letters. And this was 1936 Dodge commercial cars. And look at here, it has the different vehicles on the side on the letterhead. And then it tells here, Dear Peter of Baker, here is this truck and this model and the delivery record. And it would give you them estimates on how much that vehicle would cost. And the back is just a plain back. But it was really cool letterhead, and I had like a whole stack of them, and it's easy to scan them in. So I sold this one at auction because I didn't know what they would sell for. And then the person who purchased this, I mentioned look for other ones because I'm going to be selling more. And he says, "How many do you have? Would you sell them all to me?" And I did, and that's going to be later on in the video. So then we have this had to do with the same thing, and it's a motor vehicle dealer's agreement. And this was in 1937. So I thought this is a fascinating piece of history. And here is some of the images. You've got agreement there and some acknowledgments and, you know, just all the paperwork of selling vehicles in terms of service. Transportation stuff sells well, and this I thought was pretty cool. That went for $10 on auction because, again, I don't know what to price some of these at. I didn't see any records of other ones. Okay, so now we have photos. We went up to $10. I took an offer on this one. I had a box of photos. I think I showed you that in a recent unboxing. And there were these photos, and, you know, on their own, I'm like, I recognize that, looks vaguely familiar, but then luckily they put on the back of the photos what they were, Washington, and I just bundled them up because they were all the same one. This is Driftwood, Bank, Second Bank, whatever. And then I did some zoom-ins so people could read them better. And that set went for $10 for 4 photos, which is probably what I paid for the whole lot. Whirlybirds, this was an 8x10. I had to look it up, and it was an old TV show of a helicopter. And the guy who bought it asked me, are these actual signatures? And, you know, okay, here's some tips. Look at slanted in the light. And if it looks like the ink is laying on top of the photo, it's probably a real autograph. And the other thing here is that you can see that the writing went off into the white space. So if it's a printed photo, that old, likely they're not going to print the photo like that. But you never know. I told them I'm no expert, but it looked to me like it was a real signature. And I said, you can always return it if it's not to your liking. And that person actually was from overseas as well. So always be open and honest and never try to pad the information or exaggerate. $17. And I think I had it for like 20 or something. Okay, here's a love affair, a lot of letters, and I put this up for auction. They weren't like, you know, great. There might be a little bit of, you know, the sexy talk, but not, you know, graphic. But this is about a cheating husband who was in Guam. He moved to Guam without his family, and back home in Billings is his girlfriend. So it's kind of their clandestine relationship. It's not really old, not really highly valuable. So $20 seemed okay. And I do have another one lot up for sale from these same people because I found 2 separate lots at 2 different times. Okay, now here we go back to airlines, and this was a Welcome Aboard magazine. Fanjet Sips is 1968, and 1997 is when I got for this. These look a little different than they do today, and I thought I was taking pictures of what I thought would be most interesting. And I think some people really like to see the food on the airlines. Next, we have a pack of Yellowstone National Park. This was also with that La Push, Washington one, and that was in the same lot. These people traveled around. So this is like an overview of all the pictures. I don't know if they all said Yellowstone, but I recognized a lot of the images, and and I did say this is mostly Yellowstone. Some may not be all Yellowstone because, you know, maybe there's something of Washington or Glacier or somewhere else. So I tried to get all of the images in there, and they were all around at the same time. I didn't put these up at auction. I just put them up for sale. They are 17 photos, so, you know, I paid pennies for these. And this person also bought another lot, which I'll show you later in the video, at the same time, which was a very nice sale. Okay, this is a photo letter lot, which I showed you in a previous video, but it was just fascinating because this family here in Germany was writing to the family in the US, and they needed assistance because everything was harder after World War II for them. The letters told, you know, please send this, thank you for sending that, here's pictures of us, and this person died, this person's sick, all kinds of stuff you tell your relatives. I really, really liked this find. And isn't it kind of sad that the family didn't want this? So it's out of context now for the family. Okay, so the next one is the same situation, and I believe the same person bought both of them. So once again, it's from the same family, from Germany. It was another packet, and here's some images. This one had more pictures, and they even had a negative. And the person they were writing to was in the States. It was an aunt that was like 70 some years old. So that one went for $28.97. Pretty good for just a little thing that I found in with a bunch of other ephemera. Okay, now 2 left. We have that second pack of Yellowstone Photos, and this one was a larger lot. So once again, I just took as many pictures as I could of the pictures, and yeah, I thought so. But I mean, it's a bunch of scenery, and I bet you this place, Yellowstone, has not changed a lot since. The only thing I can think of maybe would be Hebgen Lake when they had that earthquake. So that one went for $47.97, so about $1 a photo. And the last one was related to that, Letterhead, and this is the lot. So he asked, can I purchase the rest of them from you? And I weighed it out in my mind. I'm like, I've got a nice stack of these letters still. I was planning on selling them individually for about $10 a piece. And I'm pretty sure they would all sell because there's all different kinds of stuff here. There's receipts and everything. So then we agreed to the price of $150. He paid the shipping all at once and it was gone. All of these letters, and there was more stuff in the box, $5. So ephemera is amazing. It can be amazing sellers. Some ideas of things beyond, because sometimes you buy a lot of items and there's some postcards in there, some letters, some trading cards, whatever. You should get a mixed amount. I don't think I'd ever want to just do postcards, because here in one swoop here is $150, and then like with the photos, like $50. Yeah, the photos to take a little bit more time to do, but they seem to sell faster than postcards for some reason. I'm just going to show you a peek of what I have listed here. So while I talk to you a little bit more. Oh, here, this Aircraft Membership Association thing, immediately I had watchers on it. So I'm waiting for a few more watchers and I'm going to send out an offer. A lot of times I like stuff that I can just scan, like these flyers for different real estate places. Here's that other letter lot. Here's some Letterhead. Letterhead can sell well. I might have this a little high priced, but we'll see if somebody sends me an offer. Some brochures, maps of parks. There's that fan. Here's like just all kinds of menus and guides. I kind of lucked out on getting a lot of travel stuff to Asia, which is quite popular. This one I'm surprised has not sold because it's a really cool book. Menu again, lots of menus. There's another one of these, and this is just a coaster. So anyway, so maybe that gives you some ideas. Let me know, do you sell ephemera, or are you interested in? And thanks for watching. Have a joyful day. Goodbye.